The Roadhog rework is actually very good and does a lot to add on to his current playstyle, not by that much, but just enough where you have a little bit more option to what you want to do. However, the real question is, does it solve what was actually wrong with Roadhog? And in my personal opinion, I don't think so. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Quick disclaimer as we get into this video. All the footage that you are seeing is me playing on about 200 to 250 ping. It was incredibly difficult, but I was able to get some good clips here and there and make the character work. I'll be a little bit busy with coming midterms, so I wanted to get this video out as quickly as I could. And I really have to say, Blizzard, please anticipate like patches like this. The servers are completely falling apart. They're a little bit more stable today, but there's numerous cases where I'm sure a lot of you were there even in last night's stream and you were like, hey man, like I can't find the game. I find the game, I get disconnected. Even now when I was playing some quick play, you'll see in some of the clips, like people are just disconnecting out of nowhere. So I really hope Blizzard can do a better job with this going forward, right? Anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Roadhog rework. So what is the Roadhog rework? You're going to see it on your screen right now. So as you can see on face value, it doesn't seem like much, but he got a new ability called Pigpen. Now Pigpen is basically a Junkrat trap that when you pull them into it, it's a Ravenous Vortex. It's a slightly more powerful Ravenous Vortex, I would say. It does a little bit more damage, and the control that it brings in slowing somebody down is also a little bit stronger too. And it works really well with Roadhog's overall kit. It actually feels much better on Roadhog than it does on Ramatra, in my personal opinion again. So if this is the basic of the rework, like what else has changed? Like it looks like we waited 1 year for this. No. So think of it like this. They basically took his alt fire, his right click and his left click, and they merged it into one fire. So if you look at this shot over here, I'm going to showcase it on screen right now. You can see that I'm shooting away in the practicing range, and there's these four fat projectiles in the middle. This is like your poke damage, right? And then around it you can see there's like these pellets that are all spread out, and these are these are the ones that you're supposed to use at close range. So when you hook somebody in and try to like combo with them, these pellets will be the one that register for that damage. So what did this rework achieve? I want to talk about the patch notes in just a second, but I want to just talk about the basic of like what does this rework do for Roadhog? Like I said, it allows him to have an excuse to have a one-shot combo. Now the one-shot combo is still inconsistent. It's not as incredibly inconsistent as it was before against certain hitboxes like Kiriko, Ana, and in some cases even like Lucio. It is going to be really hard to one-shot these characters, but against some other characters it's a lot better, especially against Bastion. Like it feels really good, right? So usually now the new combo is you put a trap in the general area that you're playing and then you hook somebody into it. They get launched up a little bit, but if you can just time it right, you'll be able to one-shot them or follow up with a melee combo to confirm the combo, right? Like a full big burst damage combo. Now, the thing is just like the Sombra rework, while it allows for a little bit more option to the playstyle of Roadhog or even Sombra, the difference between Sombra and Roadhog's rework was that for Sombra, it did shift the focus to a more active playstyle. For Roadhog, his playstyle is already very active. This gives him a little bit more utility in terms of pressuring the other tank. However, it didn't solve any of his problems. The biggest complaint for years, even since Overwatch 1, literally as it came out, people noted that Roadhog was just this character that's just a fat DPS. He doesn't actually do anything for the team. He's a very, very selfish tank that doesn't bring anything for his team to the table. Like when you bring a tank like this to your team, you're really hoping that they could do something for the team that can also support them. But now with Roadhog, sorry, for his selfish archetype, like it's just either he gets a pick or, he's just standing there as an ultimate battery. So did they solve that problem where there's this awkward phase until the next hook that he's not an ult battery? No, he still has all his weaknesses, and if anything, he actually got net nerfed. Now you might be asking, well, where's the net nerf? So in order to make him a little bit more lethal with his poke damage and things like that, they actually took away the changes they gave him to make him much more survivable in the 5v5 environment. They took away the fact that his damage reduction in using taking a breather has gone down from 50 to 30%. And after that, after you use take a breather, you get applied a healing, like you basically get the nade effect that Ana gives when she wants to increase the healing by 50%. So Hog could apply that to himself with take a breather. They took that effect away, that like passive that comes after take a breather, and they took away the damage reduction being 50% and brought it down to 30%. And trust me when I say this, like, you feel this. You really feel like, oh god, like I'm barely tanking the damage that's in front of me. Thank god I have a corner that I can hide behind, otherwise I'm gone. Like, it can feel very overwhelming and incredibly frustrating to play Roadhog in a lot of scenarios, because again, like, where he's bad at, he's still bad at, but now he's even more bad at it, right? But the trade-off is that his poke is really, really strong. And in some situations and close range matchups, if you know what you're doing with the hook and trap combo, at this point, I'm just going to call it the hook and cook 2.0 combo. He feels really good. Now, I will say one thing, right? If you are a fan of Winston, Ball, or Doomfist, Roadhog is the most incredibly oppressive character that you will now be running into. Like, I do think Hog is a lot more viable in where you do want to pick him. He certainly has bad matchups as well. I'll explain that in a moment. But now Doomfist and Wrecking Ball, my goodness, like, I was bullying Doomfist, especially, right? Ball can still escape here and there, but you can trap him. Like, if you have an Ana with you as well, like, Ana, Roadhog are like the best friends now. Like, they just bully everybody. They're the ultimate bully combo, right? And my goodness, we had like these Doomfist players that tried to take these engagements where they like fly in, and the second power block comes up, you just hook them into your trap. They're slow, they have nowhere to go, and you're doing so much burst damage that even if he is able to like escape, because you have the new poke damage immediately deletes that Doomfist player. So Doomfist has taken like an indirect big nerf this patch, and the same applies for Wrecking Ball as well, and the same towards Winston, right? Like, Winston at range, and like, Winston struggles so much against this new Roadhog. It's crazy. I had a Winston player play against me early in the morning, and man, I just, every time he came in, he got melted. He didn't know what to do. Eventually, they just went Orisa, right? Like, he didn't want to play their Hogmer or something like that, because we had a really good comp to deal with another like exposed, like, tank like Hog, Queen, or something like that. So he just ended up going Orisa, and unfortunately, you can even see in the clips right now, like, I will showcase what's going on in these lobbies. Basically, if you as a Hog player have an Ana and especially a Kiriko, right, you can basically do whatever you want. A lot of your weaknesses are covered by these two supports, right? Like, they just turn you into the raid boss that you are supposed to be. And even if we ignore Kiriko, this interaction with having an Ana and the other tank not having an Ana is very, very ridiculous. And I spoke about this in yesterday's video, and I want certain support abilities to feel a lot more healthier. While I'm able to overlook some of the other ones right now that I wouldn't consider the top priority, I do think Ana's anti-nade and the way it interacts with certain characters is going to potentially either limit the tank design in the future, or it will forever continue to make these new type of tanks that Blizzard is trying to create, these big brutey brawlers. Like, it's just going to make them feel incredibly, incredibly useless the moment they go up against an Ana. And I had some smart Alex, as always, in the chat saying, so in the comments saying something like, well, just try to force it out, just try to do this. How am I supposed to force it out on Roadhog when she looks at me from across the map, right? Or if their Hog hooks me into their team, and then they nade me because he brought me in. Like, in fact, look at this clip over here, right? Look at this clip. Let's look at the enemy comp over here. They do not have an Ana. We have an Ana, right? And all I'm doing in these clips is I hook the other Hog, I pull him into our team, my Ana casually nades him, and then we delete the guy. How is he supposed to do anything in this case, right? And his supports are, I don't know, like, what is this, Moira Lucio or something? Like, or whatever. It doesn't matter. He's not playing with those two supports. So then, by the logic of the people that are like, no, Ana's nade shouldn't be reworked, then by this case, every support player, anytime they have a Hog on their team, you are forced to permanently play Ana or Kiriko, or be on the receiving end of a free loss, because you don't want to remove the weaknesses of Roadhog, because Kiriko's cleanse removes the weaknesses for Hog, that he doesn't have some way to kind of, remove negative effects as well as survive longer than he should. Ana helps in that regard too, but Ana also helps a lot in the way that if you take a Hog versus Hog mirror match, if you just pull that Hog in, Ana nades him, it's basically GG's, right? So again, like, when Ana is not in that lobby, right? And Kiriko is another thing. Like, we're gonna ignore Kiriko for now because she isn't as much of a problem in this matchup, right? But in regards to, like, if you have Ana and the other guy doesn't have Ana, it's pretty much GG's. And this same thing was basically happening when Mauga came out as well. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna make the effort to get the clip from one of my previous streams and put it up here now. The quality might not be the best, but look at this. This Mauga is, Mauga 1v1 with me. And because I have an Ana who's just perma sleeping him and anting him and he doesn't, he's just getting destroyed, right? And the same thing happens with Junker Queen, or just like any tank that doesn't have a way to eat a cooldown or block a cooldown. They're at the extreme mercy of a powerful cooldown like anti-nade. Now, please try to understand the logic that I'm trying to suggest here. I want anti-nade to have power, but I don't want it to have enough power to the point that somebody whose whole character design is I have to walk in and create space and do my job. Like, I don't want them to do that job and then get punished for it for free. Essentially, that's what is happening in these clips. They're not even getting a chance to play the game. We're just pulling them into a situation where we can punish them, we punish them, and then we move on. Like, in the Mauga gameplay, I legit told my Ana player, like, wait, I'm gonna wait around this corner, bait him in. As soon as he walks in, you sleep him, you nade him, and then I burst him down. What is he supposed to do? He doesn't have a 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐿. He doesn't have any form that can cleanse him. He's basically dead. He's dead. He cannot do a single thing about it, right? And there is no cooldown that is as strong as what anti-nade's anti-effect allows for it to do, right? There's no cooldown in this game, in the damage roll, in the tank roll, or even in the other okay, well, there, support is a little bit debatable, but to be fair, ignoring 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐿 cleanse and some of the quote-unquote immortality abilities, right? They're not that overpowered to the point that one person just completely loses their ability to play the game. Ana's anti-nade basically does just that. So when we kind of think about it, like if Blizzard wants to make more of these type of tanks, which they do, they've openly admitted that they want to kind of move away from the traditional Overwatch 1 tank style and introduce a more like big brutey brawler play style in Overwatch 2, they will always find themselves running into this wall that Ana's anti-nade makes these characters, Roadhog, Jungle Queen, Mauga, like Hog 2.0, Queen, and Mauga are basically all new heroes in the Overwatch 2 setting. In a 5v5 setting, anti-nade is too strong. And because we only have like one character that can remove this effect, and we don't have another tank like Zarya to help out with this problem, we have to understand that in a 5v5 setting, some things need to be changed. Okay, it's like, I know there's, and I'm an Ana player myself. I've played so much Ana. Anytime we're streaming, I'm basically playing Ana if I'm not trying to showcase like a new rework or a new hero, right? I'm basically on Ana. And even I can understand, by putting my bias aside, that yeah, anti is kind of strong in 5v5. The best thing that we can do is cut it, do a healing reduction by 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90%. We work with the numbers, we find a good spot, and even then we can perhaps, to keep her like protected against flankers, we can increase the damage numbers on it. We can make the damage number on it go up by 10, right? So then there's a threat that, okay, if I go up to an Ana, like that nade can hit like a brick wall. So you get the best of both worlds. You are able to apply pressure with Ana's anti to the other tank, but that other tank still has some breathing room to be able to survive, but they're forced away, right? They're able to survive just a little bit, but if your team can follow up on that nade, you'll be rewarded more for it. So again, this has less to do with the because a lot of support players just didn't understand the point of the previous video. They thought that, oh, okay, well, this is going to make Ana a free kill for tanks. It's like, no, this is less to do with Ana versus a tank and more to do with how Ana is dictating fights between the tank versus tank battle, right? Because again, with the Mauga clip, with the Roadhog clip, that's basically what's happening, is that again, I'm just pulling them to my Ana. I'm telling my Ana, just delete this guy for me, like drop the nade, I delete him, we win. What is the rest of his team going to do? They don't want to play 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐿. They don't want to play like some way of cleansing or anti-ing me. If they don't want to anti me, if they don't want to pick 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐈𝐓𝐄𝐿, okay, I win the Roadhog 1v1 mirror match. I win the Mauga mirror match. Was that mirror match won because of my skill, or was that mirror match won because my Ana just threw a nade and we won for free? This is really something to think about. And I know a lot of support players that aren't me, and at least in my circle and things like that, I understand that they can get defensive because perhaps they're new to the game. They don't understand the fundamentals as much, right? But this ability cooldown is ridiculous, okay? And some tanks are able to ignore it. Some tanks are able to, like, go around it. But not every tank can do that. And in the future, like, tank will never be fun to play because these are the cooldowns that are doing it for them. Funnily enough, I see some people trying to say something like, well, it's actually DPS that's ruining tank right now. It's not. It's not. A lot of the DPS are just mid. Like, a lot of the DPS are mid. And Bastion and Tobe, yeah, they could use a little bit more nerfs. I definitely agree with there. I'm not a fan of easy characters being that strong, especially Bastion and Torb. But in regards to every other DPS character in the game, they're all in pretty good and healthy spots, right? And I feel the same way for tank. I think a lot of the tanks are good in healthy spots. And if we could just tune the support role a little bit better, we will see more variety, we will see more fun in Overwatch 2. And that's just the way I look at it. Anyways, everyone, that's going to be it for this video. The Roadhog rework was successful. It allows him to have a little bit more utility. It allows him to do what he wants. He can actually put up a fight against other tanks and pressure them in different ways. But he is still at the extreme mercy of anti-nade. I'm not going to say sleep dart because you can actually get around sleep dart with the way the new take a breather works, right? So the new take a breather is really, really nice, right? The way it can work, it's good. Also, in my personal opinion, I would say swap the button layouts. Put take a breather back on the E and put the trap on the right click. Trust me, I just couldn't get used to it. I didn't appreciate the button layout. Anyways, we're going to have the best Roadhog guide for 2.0 Roadhog coming out tomorrow, because honestly, it's not like that much changed. But for the off chance that any of you will be interested, I'll be throwing it out there tomorrow, since I did get some good footage, even if it was on 200 ping. We will be doing the Roadhog guide tomorrow, and we have all sorts of Overwatch content coming up soon. You know, keep the discussion in the comments civil and respectful. With that being said, if you want to support the channel for free, liking, subscribing is a free way to do so. And if you would like to contribute in a monetary way, then using Super Chat for now is a great way to support me. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.